The hospital siren cleaves the pre-dawn darkness like a rend. Lina kneels on the frigid floor, one arm bracing her feverish brother, the other clutching a flash drive like a talisman. The corridor reeks of disinfectant and fear. The clock blinks red. 3 hours until a deposit she cannot afford. Failure to pay means he forfeits his bed. Without the bed, he forfeits his life. The ambulance lights bleed crimson patches onto the glass. Outside, the desert falls silent, as if turning its face away from the sight. The monitor's incessant beep lacerates the silence. A cold sweat beads on her nape. Her brother babbles in delirium, calling for their father. Lina chokes back a sob. The texture of the flash drive grounds her. Small, warm, the final recourse. How long before his body succumbs? She shuffles to the counter. The receptionist's badge gleams under the neon. The voice is low, perfunctory. Orders are orders. Without the Al-Rashid Foundation's endorsement, there are no exceptions. Lina swallows the humiliation like grit. Her family lost their water, their land, their very name, when the canal was diverted. Now, an invisible stranger amidst automated doors, she is reduced to a number. Who listens when pain bears no surname? She pushes the wrong door, inadvertently stepping into the staff room. A security guard touches her shoulder, firmly. "You can't. Please." "Ma'am." She mumbles an apology, recoiling 2 steps. The marble is ice. Her thin coat offers no respite from the machines. Chill. Frayed shoelaces tell a story she cannot articulate. How long must she beg for clemency? Back at the counter, she pleads for time. 5 hours. 3. 2. Anything. The receptionist clicks, searches, sighs. No endorsement, no funds. Seek out the social worker or the foundation. Lina speaks of water, of land, of lives. She speaks of justice, not of pity. The woman regards her with an ancient weariness. "I don't decide. They decide everything. Who are they to decree who breathes?" Her phone vibrates. A message. Months in the making. Hearing at 8. Only 5 minutes. Her heart pounds, mimicking the monitor's beep. On the flash drive, proof of sabotage. In her chest, the vow from her father's wake. No one shall trample his name with impunity. Could 5 minutes spell salvation or condemnation? She looks at her brother. His skin blazes. His mouth fumbles for a word that eludes him. She presses her forehead against his, lingers there a second longer. The clock throbs like a clenched fist. If she leaves, she might miss his last breath. If she stays, she forfeits the sole chance to alter their destiny. The desert offers no guarantees. Silence provides no salvation. Which risk inflicts less pain? She raps on the social worker's door. White light, the scent of fresh paper. The woman with glasses peruses files, verifies figures. Without authorization, there are no emergency funds. Lina clenches her fist. "I don't want charity. I want the prerogative to prevent my brother's demise for want of a signature." The woman softens her tone. "Seek out the foundation. They either bestow life or consign to oblivion." She was humiliated, yet she remains resolute. How long can one's dignity withstand? Behind the privacy screen, 2 nurses whisper. He's the one who decides. The name ripples like a scorching whisper. The Sheikh, the unblinking man. The one who dictates the flow of resources and stifles dissent. They say no woman endures his company. They say his past remains a sealed vault. Lina pretends not to hear, but she hears, and it festers. Is the man who authorized the diversion of funds the same one who holds the fate of her brother's life in his hands? She returns to the room. She removes her headscarf and mops her brother's brow. She murmurs resolutely, "I'll be back. I'll return with a resolution." The monitor's steady beep sustains the moment. She touches the modest bangle on her wrist. She recalls small hands scooping water into tin cans. The campfires, the dust at the close of day. When did the desert transform into an adversary? In the restroom, the mirror reflects profound under-eye circles, pale skin, hair secured by a worn elastic band. The cold water stings her hands until the trembling subsides. Footsteps in the corridor, a cry from the adjacent ward, the static from the radio. In silence, she repeats, "Justice, not vengeance. Dignity, not supplication." A fragile thread of hope persists. Is it enough? She attempts to reach the director. She knocks lightly. "It's early morning," the secretary states. "He's not here. Would you like to leave a message?" Lina scribbles her name and a number. The secretary spots the flash drive and lifts her chin defiantly. "Don't come in here with threats." Lina curbs her impulse. "It's not a threat. It's proof." The other woman's gaze intensifies. "Leave before I call security." Lina exits. The corridor stretches out, stark and cold. At 8, a glass edifice awaits her. Who awaits her there? The TV in the lobby murmurs a report. Humanitarian funds, strategic philanthropy. A man in an impeccable tunic signs documents, a leather glove bearing an old scar. The narrator states he determines water conduits. He holds absolute sway over lives. Lina lifts her chin. A pang of dread grips her. What fractured within him to allow him to live unblinking? And why is she contemplating this now? A high window in the distance mirrors the rain-slicked city. A man awakens before dawn. He avoids mirrors. He avoids dates. He avoids names that ache. He understands the gravitas of an endorsement. He comprehends the cost of a misstep. The leather of his sleeve scrapes the table with a low thud. He peruses figures. He eradicates recollections. Within, a locked door. He does not open it. Not yet. When that door finally yields, what will emerge? Lina returns to the room. The fever waxes and wanes, recalcitrant as trapped water. The palm senses the heat and the urgency that compels submission. She leans in and whispers, "I will go and return before the sun rises. I will return with the necessary provision. I will return with the truth." He offers no reply, yet his breathing finds a rhythm for a fleeting second. Sometimes, a second is everything. At the reception, she requests a taxi. The security guard glances at the time, at her frayed satchel, at her eyes. "Would you like me to call someone?" She shakes her head. "No need." He hesitates. "Good luck." She offers a quiet thanks and departs. The rain falls as a fine mist. The air tastes of metal. The desolate parking lot stretches out like an immense chessboard, upon which she is but a small piece, yet one that steadfastly refuses to fall. Before you continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because what's about to happen you won't believe. Stay until the end to see how this story of desert romance and revenge turns everything upside down. And tell me, what would you do if the only man capable of saving your brother were the very same one who shattered your world? The taxi hisses to a stop. The driver glances in the rearview mirror, asking nothing. She clutches her bag tightly against her chest. Central Hospital to the financial district. He turns the radio on, its volume barely audible. The city, at this hour, is a slumbering beast haunted by ill dreams. Lina presses her forehead against the window pane. Red lights flash by like old scars. She breathes, counting. 1, 2, 3. Will her heart obey? She reopens the message. Hearing at 8, 5 minutes. The contact, vanished for months, suddenly flares into existence like a match struck in the rain. There is no promise, only a time, a floor, a receptionist's name. She repeats the particulars under her breath, as if praying an address. Her eyes close. When they open, she needs to discern a path. Will she? At the lengthy traffic light, her hand itches to dispatch the file then and there, to press, send, to dismantle the machinery, to obliterate them all. Yet, there are people in the hospital who desperately need water now, children who require beds today. She understands the distinction between justice and conflagration. The inferno within her intensifies. Who bears the cost of her click? The light turns green. The car advances. The glass edifice materializes like a luminous vessel in the mist. Floors gleaming. The city itself seems to genuflect in its presence. Lina swallows hard. She requests to be dropped off a block early. She wishes to approach on foot, to feel the ground beneath her. The cold wind carries the scent of the dampened desert. She adjusts her coat, pressing the flash drive firmly within her pocket. She walks, slowly, resolutely, towards a man who possesses the power either to redeem her or to utterly undo her. She pauses at the street corner, observing the facade, black vehicles, suited security personnel, discreet cameras. Her breath catches. then settles into a steady rhythm. Her heart thumps against her temples. She mentally tallies. 5 minutes, 3 arguments, 1 plea. No tears, no alms, only truth. Does truth unlock doors? A boy on a bicycle zips past, splashing water onto her shoe. Lina glances down, inhales, then lifts her gaze once more. She remembers her father, his hands caked with clay, saying that water holds memory, that everything returns. The word returns echoes. The bracelet grows warm against her skin. Is she sufficiently prepared to make life turn back? She crosses the street. The revolving door parts like a glass maw. The air inside is perceptibly cooler. A scent of damp marble and subtle incense pervades. A display panel lists names, times, floors. Hers is absent. She states the contact's name. The security guard requests identification, confirms it, then falters upon reading her surname. She holds his gaze. Will he bar her entry? The turnstile beeps green. The elevator arrives with a metallic sigh. The polished steel fragments her reflection. The ping for the 10th floor is stark. The corridor is pale stone. The silence thick. 2 more steps and there's no turning back. The USB drive warms at her fingertips. In her chest, the oath weighs heavily. Lina inhales, raises her hand, touches the doorbell. So, would you step inside now, or knock once more? Comment below what you would do. If you believe in second chances, leave a one in the comments. For the door opened from within, and a voice said, "Enter. Would you cross the threshold?" She stepped inside. The air was colder than the corridor, a scent of polished wood, subtle Audi, and the city as a mosaic of light against the floor-to-ceiling glass. The door closed without a sound, and he was already awaiting her, seated, back ramrod straight, clad in dark attire, a leather glove accentuating his right hand. The nascent light sharply defined his jawline. His eyes didn't inquire, they appraised. He indicated the chair with a minimal gesture, allowing the silence to convey the rest. Lina remained standing for an extra second. The edge of the USB drive pricked her fingertip in her pocket. Her heart pulsed in her temples. Only then did she sit. The leather yielded as if acknowledging her presence. He uttered her name, low, unhurried. Lina Haddad, arrived before the sun. Your 5 minutes have commenced. The very word name opened a wound she had sought to conceal. Who had informed him? And why did he sound as if he knew more than he let on? She steadied her voice. My brother. Bed 34? I haven't come to beg. His finger lifted imperceptibly. To beg is a risk. And here, risk always has an owner. The air seemed to bite. Behind him, on a shelf, an old photograph. A well. Men caked in dust. A boy at the edge. Large eyes. It resembled him, or a younger version of him. The thirst permeated everything. Even amidst this opulence, he angled his gloved hand. The precise seam of the tailoring caught the light. I know about your brother. I know about your father. I know about the canal. I know about the shelved process. When did you decide that 5 minutes could rewrite a destiny? Lina pressed her fingertips against the stone table. Cold. The urge to tremble welled up, and she bit the inside of her cheek until it subsided. Truth doesn't ask permission. She took a breath and held his gaze. The clock, numberless, advanced invisibly. An internal door clicked shut. Amira, in a dark suit, clipboard in hand, eyes that registered everything. Water in a crystal glass. Silence. The glass met the table with a distinct chime. Lina did not drink. Not yet. A map slid to the edge. Canals, colors, arrows. The gloved hand rested on a curve. I bear the weight of costly decisions. You carry a thumb drive. What's on it? His gaze dropped to her pocket. Her skin burned. Evidence, sabotage, off-route trucks, crossed orders, names the wind hasn't erased. She stated, her voice unwavering. He didn't move a muscle, save for his jawline, which tightened into a sharp line. Have you come to deliver me? Or to threaten me? I don't threaten. I collect. The charter speaks of clean water, of fair riverbeds. What they did was a crime. He leaned back slightly. His eyes fell upon the simple bracelet on her wrist. His own, of leather, concealed a scar. Hers, inexpensive, concealed a memory. They mirrored each other like fractured glass. Lightning flashed in the distance. The thunder followed. A gentle rumble. He returned to the map. Do you know why we diverted? The official version. Droughts, failures, necessity. And the one that doesn't make the papers. Profit and fear. Lina did not avert her gaze. We diverted because someone sabotaged the upstream well. On your side. The word sabotage brought with it the scent of diesel, burnt metal, rising dust. Her father at the canal's edge. Water still as a wounded animal. And the machines arriving like a storm. We decided in hours. If we hadn't diverted, 2 hospitals would have gone dark. Choices. Someone always bleeds. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't justify. He merely laid the stones on the table. Lina tasted salt on her tongue. Who chooses who bleeds? She touched the glass. The water was cold and clean. It went down like a brief palliative. He watched her drink, saw her thirst. His own had a different taste, that of ancient guilt, which would not dissolve in crystal. The silence grew dense. Your father came here, 2 years ago. Maps, promises, your photograph. It was for you to study abroad. Her ground shifted an inch. The photo, her father, he was here? Why didn't he tell me? How does one return to a conversation that never occurred? And what did you say? Nothing. The phone rang. I left. When I returned, he was gone. Nothing. The word hung cold in the air. What is lost in a touch? What can never be reassembled? The glove flexed. A small confession of an unnamed pain. Use your 5 minutes. Say everything. Lina loathed the deadline, loathed the table, loathed the glove. But within this constraint, there was a chink. She withdrew the flash drive and laid it down as one would lay a knife. Far enough, close enough, and she spoke. Trucks in the pre-dawn hours, license plates caked with dust, a supervisor with a falsified surname, a spreadsheet that wouldn't balance, the upstream well, dormant for days, and the water route that, abruptly, reversed its flow. As she spoke, her voice found its track. He listened. He did not interrupt. His eyes darted between the flash drive, her mouth, the window, an imaginary clock. When she finished, the room seemed to shrink, to grow in stature. He opened his laptop. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. He did not type. Not yet. You apologized when you mistakenly entered the staff lounge. I liked that. Someone who apologizes without bowing interests me. Power does not divine. Power observes. She felt the weight of being seen, and she raised her chin higher. If you already know everything, why listen to me? Because no one tells me how it hurts. They only bring me numbers. The fissure appeared. The crack was his, not in his fortune, but in his soul. For the first time, she wanted to ask about the scar beneath the glove. His brother. I can sign now. Change protocol. Lift isolation. I can. The word lay planted in the middle of the table. It grew, the distant hum of a generator. The city, contained within the glass, did not blink. You can, but at what cost? If what you've brought is true, we're dealing with people who do not lose. You want justice. I want order. Between justice and conflagration, there is a thread. If I cross for you, will you cross for me? The air grew thin. What does cross entail? How far does that thread extend? The glove came off, all at once. The hand was marred by old burns, crisscrossing the skin like a map of dry riverbeds. He did not lower his gaze. I lost someone. In a flood that should never have occurred. The report called it an extreme event. I call it guilt. The glove returned. His voice, stone once more. If you give me the truth, I will provide the bed. And more than the bed. I will provide a path. Protection costs. Debts due too. Can you withstand it when they try to use you? Lina felt her legs steady despite her fear. Justice. Dignity. 2 pillars. And a turbulent sea between them. The intercom. Amira. Haddad dossier. And call the hospital. Bed 34. Rapid footsteps outside. An old folder arrived. Yellowed paper. A photograph held by a clip. Her father. A faint smile playing on his lips. Water shimmering in the background. She yearned to touch it, yet refrained. He scanned 2 lines, then snapped it shut. He regarded Lina with a different gaze, a silent reverence. You haven't come seeking alms. You've come to settle a debt. Some debts the desert exacts belatedly, but exact them it does. Her breathing shifted. It wasn't triumph, but rather acknowledgement, the nascent span of a bridge. His phone vibrated. He read the message, his jaw clenching involuntarily. The supervisor in question was promoted yesterday. Someone is meticulously erasing their tracks. Time abruptly contracted. Peril had breached their defenses unannounced. Lina felt a chill creep up her spine. Are we being listened to? He snapped the laptop shut with a terse gesture. I'm coming to the hospital with you. Now, I'll sign whatever's needed en route, and you will guide me from the latest entry in this file back to its genesis. I'm in. Are you? The private elevator illuminated behind the smoked glass. Power was stirring. The city seemed to hold its collective breath. Lina envisioned her brother on his sickbed, her neighbor, the overdue rent notice, the defunct lawsuit, her father, departing that very place with nothing, 2 years prior. Her chest tightened. A yes might open doors, but does a no safeguard the soul? Which path leads to a slower demise? He did not approach her directly, but instead cleared space beside him. His gloved hand touched the handle. The elevator responded with a soft blue luminescence. I can protect you. The declaration was devoid of vanity. It resonated with gravity, with indebtedness, with inherent risk. She felt its profound implications. Comment below what you would do. Would you step into this elevator with the man who holds the power to save your brother, yet potentially eclipse your very identity? If you believe in second chances, leave a 1 in the comments. For the next step will irrevocably alter the course of the water and of the heart. She remained silent. The numberless clock silently consumed yet another segment of the morning. Amira appeared at the doorway. The press is downstairs, she reported, inquiring about the misappropriation. Someone leaked it. Lina's blood ran cold. He didn't so much as blink. His gloved hand braced the doorframe. A frontier. Should she enter? She would become both an ally and a target. Should she refuse, her brother's life would slip through her grasp. The city observed. The floor exuded the scent of incense and peril. The silence demanded an answer, one that would come at a steep price. He retrieved the flash drive, an act of improbable delicacy. He did not connect it, instead tucking it inside his jacket, close to his heart. I will handle this. You tend to him. Trust, he knew, was a bridge easily consumed by flames. What burns more fiercely? Doubt or capitulation? The elevator doors parted. Clean light, mirrored steel, 2 reflections, barely recognizable to each other, yet bearing the same fundamental void. He extended his hand. It was not a command, but an invitation. The city outside seemed to hold its breath, awaiting a signal. Lina gazed at his outstretched hand, then at her own. She remembered her father. Water, she recalled, held memory. The warm bracelet on her wrist. The oath, justice, not vengeance. Her voice emerged a bare whisper. I am not currency. He nodded slowly. Nor am I. Their breaths synchronized. Amira gave a strained cough. Tense. The hospital was on the line. Bed 34. Time. Lina took a step. The sensor registered it. The door began to close, and Amira's voice sliced through once more. Sir, a family member of yours is in the lobby. He claims he's here to inform you of a search warrant for this room. Who leaked this? And whose interest did it serve for them to descend now? The elevator's steel continued its smooth descent. The world constricted. The choice hung poised in the space between 2 heartbeats. To enter and become part of the war. To stay and become bait. His hand was still there, open, firm, human. What price must Lina pay first? She stepped in. So did he. The door closed softly. The cable hummed low. The mirrored steel reflected 2 worlds within the same rectangle. His scent, the chill in the air. The building descended. Top floor to the ground. He stated, Amira, stall the warrant. Cooperate without yielding ground. Call the hospital. Bed 34. His voice wasn't raised. It commanded, and the phone's beep confirmed it. The digital signature was processed. A green light blinked miles away. Lina exhaled sharply. A measure of relief no larger than a glass. The fear lingered. What if they rescinded immediately? The mirror revealed her weariness. Hair pulled back, damp skin, a warm bracelet. He, bronzed, composed, his gaze fixed on the panel's display. Power does not waver, or does it tremble within? You have enemies within your own house, he stated, without looking at her. A warrant doesn't materialize out of thin air. Someone intends for this to cause pain. Whom does it target? Her, him, both of them. His hand opened, halfway extended. If we go via the lobby, we'll be mobbed. If we opt for the service route, they'll pursue. Your preference. Lina lifted her chin. Truth confronts directly. He nodded. They had opted for a confrontation. The doors parted to reveal a barrage of flashes. Damp marble. Microphones, like spears. Who is she? Dossier? Personal gain? A caustic laugh erupted. No woman lasts with him. The phrase pierced her, ice and fury. She did not flinch. He advanced half a step, his gloved hand raised, palm out. Gentlemen, later, now, the hospital. The din subsided for 2 seconds, long enough for him to take Lina's hand. Not in possession, but as a shield. Warmth against her skin. A shock, both welcome and perilous. Would it burn? A man stepped forward, blocking their path. Similar brows, of the same blood. Cousin, he stated, his voice low. The judge signed it. If you resist, they'll come up. Whoever leaked this wants a spectacle. Khalid didn't flinch. Cooperate within the bounds of the law. Let the chain of custody bear my name. Remind them of that. The cousin hesitated. He yielded. Underneath it all, a singular why. Why her? They cleaved a path through the throng of cameras. The air outside was thin, a fine mist of rain. A black SUV pulled up, its door already open. Dark leather, a muffled engine. They entered. The city blurred past like flowing water. Central Hospital, bed 34, he stated into the phone. Special protocol. Now. The voice on the other end quivered. Yes, sir. Lina closed her eyes. She saw her brother. She saw the monitor. A keen edge of relief scraped her chest. What if everything reverted to square one? Relief was a fleeting gust. The window presented the familiar city. Nothing was the same. He looked at his own hand. One gloved, the other bare. Fingers destined to sign fates, and to bear the weight of guilt. He thought of his mother, his father, the bridge on the verge of collapse, and he swallowed the words he left unsaid. She spoke. If the sabotage began upstream, someone authorized it downstream. Who? The board? A cousin? People who devour reputations over breakfast? And you? Will you sever yours? He laughed soundlessly. Sometimes, cutting saves. Sometimes, it transforms you into the very person you despise. We're on the precipice. You too. They looked at each other. The rain relented. The hospital emerged, stark white and weary. They descended. Wet pavement met their souls. Security cleared a path. Lina followed the distant beep. The reception staff met them with uneasy glances. The authorization had arrived, but it had been countermanded. Her stomach churned. Who dares to undo what he does? He felt the blow. He didn't move. Director now, he commanded. A phone was hurled. A man with a crooked tie scurried. There was a mistake. Mistakes have names. Who signed? The director stammered. A common surname. Lina recognized the telltale syllable. The same one from the tainted spreadsheets. The same one from the switched plates. It's him, she thought internally. The blight that merely shifts its vessel. Khalid didn't shout. He moved an inch closer. We will rectify this immediately. Subsequently, terminate his employment. A pen, a sealed document, the official imprimatur. He signed with his bare hand. A scar laid bare, a parched riverbed etched into his skin. Lina held her breath. What had he lost in that flood? Bed 34, now. The team rushed. The beep quickened. Lina nearly ran too. Her foot faltered. He held her elbow. Firm, discreet. She straightened. I'll manage on my own. He released her, made space, walked beside her. The room door, her brother, fever gleaming on his skin, mask, a drip. The doctor looked up, already stabilizing, his continued presence, assured. Lina pressed her forehead against his. A second. Come back. I brought water. The monitor responded for him. A smoother curve. A less acute sound. Sometimes, it's merely a whisper. Khaled remained at the door. He didn't intrude. He saw, and it pained him. An ancient ache. On the nightstand, a plastic cup. Lukewarm water. He wished to swap it for crystal. He didn't. Thirst does not discriminate by goblet. Sign here, the doctor said. Isolation. He signed. Again. Steady hand. Contained breath. And the corridor filled with navy blue. 2 officers. Warrant in hand. Foundation devices. Now. Lina's heart seized. The flash drive was in his jacket. The abyss yawned open. Amira arrived. Breathless. Chain of custody secured. They want to take everything today. The cousin is holding off the press. The board is observing. The ceiling dropped a foot. The law permits copying, not seizure without an expert, he said. The officer raised an eyebrow. The judge broadened the scope. Public interest. Haste as an excuse. His hand rose to his chest, stopped at his pocket. Micro gesture. He turned to Lina. Low, fast. If I hand it over, it vanishes. If I don't, you become a co-conspirator alongside me. His gaze was raw. For the first time, unmasked. The scar burned, ungloved. He offered guilt, protection, shadow, and a choice that sears. She looked at her brother, looked at the invisible pocket, looked at the officers, the doctor, the crooked director. The city compressed in the white ceiling, and felt 2 lines intersect in her chest. Truth. Survival. Which one drinks first? Her bracelet grew warm. Her father's phrase returned. Water has memory, but fire does too. Comment below what you would do. Would you surrender it and trust the system that devoured your family? Or would you keep it and risk everything for a thread of truth? If you believe in second chances, leave a 1 in the comments. The officer cleared his throat. Sir. Now. The pen tapped on the notepad. 3 taps. The clock without numbers devoured another second. Khaled did not flinch. He waited. Lina filled her lungs. The corridor smelled of disinfectant and tension. Her hand opened. Her voice emerged low, firm, and stopped at the edge. What will she say now? The voice came out. Low, firm. Copy it here. Now. With an independent expert. 2 sealed copies. 1 goes to the judge. The other stays with me, under public custody. Without that, nothing leaves your pocket. The corridor held its breath. The officer's pen paused mid-stroke on the notepad. The director took a step back, and she did not tremble. The bracelet grew warm. Water only flows if the bed is just. Would they agree? Khaled read her courage as one deciphers a war map. He nodded. A centimeter. Amira. Expert. Numbered seals. Hash read aloud. Chain of custody. His voice turned to calm stone. The older officer cleared his throat. I've never seen a claimant dictate protocol. Today you will, said Khaled. The law isn't blind. It only pretends to be when convenient. Here, it's convenient to see. The procedures room opened like a cold crack. White light, clean stainless steel, smell of alcohol. The door closed with 2 clicks. Lina took the flash drive from his jacket. He allowed it. No theatrics. 2 centimeters of plastic, imbued with the gravitas of a river. Who would have imagined a city could be contained within that minuscule piece? The forensic expert arrived with a black briefcase, gloves, seals, a disconnected laptop. He elucidated without haste, hash before and after, a forensic image, 4 witnesses, signatures. Each word served as a plank, bridging the chasm. Khaled observed the ritual. He discerned the ancient conflict, water, law, family. Every conflict commences in a chamber more confined than its import warrants. The officer leaned against the doorframe. The youngest fixed his gaze on Lina like a match poised to ignite a warehouse. Should a single line vanish, you will be held accountable. She did not flinch. Should a single line vanish, the city will be held accountable. The silence crackled. Who protects whom when trust is absent? A click resounded. The digital folder materialized. Documents, spreadsheets, videos, Names. A surname flickered, fleeting, like a fish. Lina swallowed hard. She knew what resided within. The expert read out the first hash. Witnesses confirmed. "We proceed," he stated, dispassionately. The clock, devoid of numbers, consumed yet another minute. Khaled peeled back the glove at the table's edge. His bare hand was exposed. The scar seared memories. In the reflection of the stainless steel, he saw the boy in the well. The water took more than it should have. Can a file truly name the insidious corruption within? He fell silent. He waited for the progress bar to advance. A protracted beep barked from the corridor. Bed 34. Attention required. Lina's blood ran cold. The expert froze. "Don't stop," she whispered softly. "I'll go." The doctor touched her arm. "Stay. I'll see to it," and vanished. Who provides ballast when the very ground gives way? Amira stood in the doorway, half in, half out. One foot in care, the other in war. "Do you truly trust?" she whispered to Khaled. He held her gaze. "I trust what hurts. It hurts her. It hurts me." The answer was unadorned and perilous. When the villain acquires a taste for truth, what then shifts? The progress bar advanced slowly. The cooler whirred softly. The expert jotted down numbers as one might pray in secret. The doctor returned, breathless, stable. Adjustment made. Lina closed her eyes for a second, trembling internally, steadfast externally. 87%. So little left. Yet everything remains. The senior officer advanced a mere step. "You protect yourselves excessively. It smacks of culpability." Lina stared back. "It resembles memory. Do you know the scent of a truck in the pre-dawn hours?" He averted his gaze. The room seemed to shrink. Time grew heavy. The weight of history pressed upon their chests. Khaled's mother appeared in the crevice of the door. A light headscarf. A bearing of ancient sands. Eyes that recognized downfall. She did not enter. She merely stated, "Never trust a silent river." It was both a benediction and a warning. She gazed at Lina, saw hunger and light, and then vanished. Does one who waits truly grasp the cost of discord? The expert raised his thumb. First copy ready, seal affixed. Hash read, identical. Breathe. The second commenced. The young officer shifted his weight. Haste gnaws at its master. Amira jotted down numbers in her notebook. Memory is a weapon. The door swung open without a knock. The unscrupulous director. A journalist clinging to his heels. Badge concealed. Flash. Who is she? The woman of the scandal. The blade presented itself. Lina turned her face towards the light. "I am the woman whose brother breathes by right, not by grace, and the daughter of a man who left this place without answers. If this file vanishes, you will hear the city through my voice." The flash faltered. Humiliation lost its purchase. She had been wounded and chose the light. Would you have faced it? Khaled watched. Silent. Admiration stung. Dangerous. The glove brushed fleetingly against her shoulder. He recoiled. The most powerful man felt what could not be purchased, and burned internally. Did this render him weak, or finally human? The second copy was complete. 2 transparent pouches, numbered seals, signatures. The officer took one, Khaled the other. Lina's went into the locked metal box. She ran her finger over the seal, memorized the number. If it breaks, I will scream. To safeguard is also a battle. Her cousin appeared, pale. The judge is in the lobby. He wants to speak with you. And with her. Origin of the dossier. The ground shifted beneath them. Lina straightened her spine. My name is on it. Sufficient origin. Her cousin swallowed his replies. The family doesn't know what to do with a woman who does not avert her gaze. Khaled saw. Old loyalties pricked at his nape. The lobby transformed into a river of eyes. The judge, in a light suit, his face meticulously schooled to appear impassive. Mr. Al-Rashid, we require the original device. Khaled raised the seal. Original under shared judicial custody. Risk of destruction. If you take it, leave a sealed copy at the hospital's registrar's office. The judge twisted his mouth in a grimace. Who taught the law to be so intransigent today? Lina advanced half a step. Protection for my brother. Witness protection program. If they touch him, we release everything. The judge measured her. He saw that she would burn. The official proceedings churned on. Sometimes the impossible yields a millimeter. And does that save a life? The press found its voice anew. Did you stumble inadvertently into his life? Sugar-coated venom. Lina did not blink. I inadvertently landed in precisely the right place. The barb struck Khaled inwardly. He remembered the wrong corridor. The old phrase bit. No woman lasts with me. What if she lasted now? The doctor returned. Costly antibiotic. Expedited. Consent. Khaled stared at the unscrupulous director. Who decides? Silence. He signed. A terse flourish. Lina looked at him. She offered no thanks. She marked him. Justice is not a favor. He assented. Another plank on the bridge. The judge received copies. A report year seals. There are far-reaching implications, he stated. Corporations, politicians, families. Lina offered no embellishment. This is water. Water belongs to no one. The expert leafed through an appendix. A name stood out on the page. Haddad. Emergency access agreement. Flood date. A crooked signature. Lina's blood ran cold. My father didn't read contracts. They signed over his head. The director was perspiring. The judge's face hardened. Who profits from a man's ignorance? And who pays when the city drinks mud? Khaled rested his hand on the cold table. Her father, on the wrong document. His name, on the right one. Blame hovered between the two. He had sought to resolve it with power, with money. He realized it could only be resolved with truth. His mother's voice echoed back. Don't trust a silent river. It was time for an uproar. We go public, he declared. Now, Lina's eyes widened. You'll get burned. He offered a wry smile. I'm already burned. All that's left is to choose for what reason. She took a breath. I'll speak, on one condition. No names without conclusive proof. Protect the small players. Cut down the powerful. He assented. The hospital staircase transformed into a stage. They stopped 2 steps below the world. Lina recounted without dramatics. Trucks, cold license plates, upstream sabotage, counter orders at the hospital, the right to a bed, shared custody. The wind stirred his mother's scarf in the background. The city leaned in to listen. The abyss receded by a hair's breadth. The prosecutor sliced through the air with a raised document. Coercive summons. For him. For her. Potential obstruction. Potential has teeth. Amira paled. His cousin's jaw tightened. The judge hesitated. The prosecutor smiled with an air of vanity. Where does justice end and spectacle begin? Khaled raised his hands. A glove on one, a scar on the other. If it's by the book, I'll go, he said, and in a low voice to Lina. If I go down now, they'll pull bed 34 while the city watches the bars. If I stay, they'll hunt in the dark. If I go, can you hold the bridge alone? The world constricted to the size of her throat. The doctor crossed the scene. Patient at risk. 3 hours. The prosecutor weighed the audience's reaction. It would yield more later. He conceded a step. 3 hours, and get out of my sight. Bargaining with time is playing with fire. Sometimes, it's all one has left. In the break room, 5 chairs, a clattering coffee machine, a merciless clock. He leaned back, weary. For the first time, he breathed like someone who has been beaten and is grateful for it. I can offer up my name to save your brother. I'll fall. Afterwards, they'll come for you. Will you stand by me before the city? Lina sat down, her legs heavy, her chest tight. I am not currency. I will not be used to launder you, and I will not let you fall on top of me. If we are to fall, we will fall side by side, only if the descent illuminates. He heard it as a verdict. Harsh, unambiguous. Desire brushed against fear. It did not recoil. Can that which is born in fire become a bridge? Sirens licked the facade. A somber half-hour died on the silent clock. Her brother's breathing became more stable. The city held its breath. Amira entered with 2 cell phones. Your video is ready, she told Lina. If things go awry, I'll publish it. His is too, she said to Khaled. A plan and a confession. 2 triggers, 2 shields, 2 fires held in one hand. Comment below what you would do. Would you release the video before they arrived? Or would you wait for the law and risk losing everything in silence? If you believe in second chances, leave a comment in the comments. Because the corridor began to fill again, the prosecutor returned with an escort, and boots stamped the floor like hammers. Lina's phone vibrated. An unfamiliar number. She answered. A distorted voice. Calm. If you want your brother to live, don't get into the patrol car with him. Let the powerful man go alone. We have eyes on bed 34. Her face drained of color. Khalid saw. The danger had shifted. The blackmail reeked of cold metal. What is it? He asked, his voice low. She closed her eyes for a second. Opened them. The bracelet burned. Her heart said one thing. The city, another. The siren swallowed the pause, and the question raised a blade in the middle of her chest. Does she surrender the man who could save her to protect her brother now? Or does she confront the threat and risk both their lives? Lina didn't respond immediately. The sounds of the hospital seeped through every crevice. A distant beep. Chilly air. The scent of disinfectant clung to the roof of her mouth. Fear tasted of metal. She gripped the phone like a knife. What do you do when someone whispers with their hand on the respirator of the one you love? Khalid read the shadow that crossed her face. Her jaw taut, her blinking restrained. What is it? He implored, his voice dropping. Talk to me. He didn't command, he pleaded. And that stung. The truth emerged. Raw. They threatened my brother. If I get into the patrol car with you, they'll harm him. Simple, cruel, foul. What is courage worth when its price is a threat of breath? He didn't promise a miracle. I'll go alone, he said. Now, you stay with him. If they touch the bed, I'll scream before I descend. If I fall first. No woman ever stayed with him, because no one perceived that imaginary knee. And suddenly, he seemed ready to kneel for something other than power. Lina froze. It was logical to accept. It was a trap. And they want you isolated, she replied. They leave me here. Easy to break. Wrong antibiotic. Swapped tray. She had seen the trick before. She had been humiliated, but she wouldn't be used again. Do you trust someone who closes the door and demands silence? Khalid took a deep breath. I need to tell you. One of the contracts in the dossier implicates a company of mine. An old one. Exclusive routes. I didn't see the sewage behind it, but my money paved the road. The name of guilt found its voice. The air grew heavy. She absorbed it, her throat dry. You were part of the river. She didn't accuse. She merely observed. Her chest fractured along the right seam. She looked at his scar and saw a man consumed by thirst. Do you want to get out of the mud? Or just switch banks? He didn't run. I can continue if I pretend, or I can break. I chose to break. His body gave an inch, not theater, weariness, truth. The most powerful man crumbled within. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He asked for permission to pay. Lina held her spine straight, her finger pressed against the glove. Firmly, I am not currency. I won't cleanse you. If you go, you'll go. Because you chose the truth, not because they ordered you. She clutched her dignity as one grips a handrail on a fire escape, and asked her own fear if it knew how to lose. Amira entered, gasping for air. Elevators with agents. A council meeting in the corridor. The judge had vanished from the reception. Time compressed. Who decides when the clock presses against one's chest? Lina instinctively washed her hands, cold water on her wrists. The bracelet grew hot. Her father's phrase returned. Water has memory. Fire, too. She turned to him. I stay. You go. But with one condition. Everything public. Now. Blackmail only thrives in the shadows. He nodded. Heavily. He pulled a black card from his wallet. Nameless. Master key to the foundation. Passwords. Safes. Doors. If I fall, this will clear your path. It's perilous. It's the right thing to do. He handed it over. She took it. The cold pierced her skin. Divided power is the first crack in the castle. Amira raised 2 cell phones, trigger-armed. If they tamper with the monitor, the video automatically uploads to 3 channels and to the duty judge. Dead man's switch. The expression grated on her ears. Relief and dread embraced. Would you publish now or hold your strike? Comment below what you would do. Would you open the wound in front of the cameras? Or would you wait for the first move to cut deeper? If you believe in second chances, leave a 1 in the comments. Because the corridor outside had become a display window. Everyone watching. No one helping. Khaled took a step back. There was more. There always is. A name, he said softly. Nashat, the individual overseeing logistics. He leaves no signature. He whispers, he was with me through the lean times. The exclusive pipeline originated with him. If I vanish, do not trust. The name settled in her mind like a stone dropped into a still lake. Ripples. Khaled's mother materialized in the sliver of an opening. A light headscarf. Eyes that spoke of arduous journeys. Water always finds a crevice, she uttered. More a benediction than mere counsel. And then she was gone. At times, destiny speaks in metaphors. Who truly listens? The prosecutor arrived, his tie rigid. The hour had come. 2 agents in tow. The director feigned ignorance. The journalist sniffed out a spectacle. The city sharpened its edges. Who would bleed first? Khaled offered his wrists without a trace of theatrics. The cuff clicked shut. He looked over his shoulder. He didn't say, "Take care of me." He said, "Take care of him." And then he was led away. 2 steps morphed into a corridor. The weight on his back felt like an entire nation. Guilt. 2. Lina walked over to bed 34. She leaned her forehead against the railing. Cold skin, a familiar rhythm. Her phone vibrated in her hand. A message. Shift change in the lab. Sample mistakenly swapped. On a day like this, there are no mistakes. "Doctor," she called out. "Verify his sample. Chain of custody now." The poison could descend from the very ceiling. In the corridor, Khaled heard her command and caught his breath. Nothing in him wanted to yield. Everything in him knew he had to proceed. "I'm doing this for myself, not for you," he stated to the prosecutor, and he stepped forward, like one treading on hot coals. Amira stood poised between 2 doors, a mental map unfurling in her mind. If Nashat is the one at the apex, who is their operative inside? The crooked director? The question gnawed at her. Lina's phone pinged with a photo, an ID badge in the pocket of a lab coat, a familiar surname. Too close for comfort. Who could betray from such proximity? Almost within arm's reach. The doctor entered, looking pale. His sample had been swapped. "We've corrected it." With no clear trace of the error, fear coursed through her like platelets. Lina took a deep breath. Her mind cleared, pristine as a hospital corridor at 6 in the morning. There was no room for whispers when one's inner voice screamed. She raised her phone, recorded. Her face, her brother, the void. "My name is Lina. They threatened my brother by phone. They said to hand over a man in exchange for his life. His sample was swapped. I do not negotiate. Any alteration triggers this video. This hospital is today a crime scene." Her voice emerged steady. Her hands were cold. The decision, finally, had taken concrete form. The journalist noticed and aimed his lens. The prosecutor, from a distance, turned away, annoyed. The mother clutched her headscarf, almost in prayer. The air shifted by a single degree. It was the precise minute when history decides who will burn and who will merely dissipate. And the city, like glass, began to fracture. Lina saved it as a draft. Did not publish. Not yet. The automated trigger was the blade poised at the system's throat. A finger hovered over the button, the bracelet seared. Her heart pounded in her ears. And then, the light above bed 34 flickered. Once, subtly. Then, it stabilized. Was it merely a fright, or a veiled warning? Share in the comments below what your next move would be. Would you publish immediately and set everything ablaze? Or would you await their initial move to strike back with irrefutable evidence? If you're a proponent of second chances, drop a 1 in the comments. For the elevator had carried Khaled downwards, the stairs had ushered Boots upwards, and the emergency call button pulsed with 2 red points of light. Does Lina hit a send now, or does she hold back for another second, risking the loss of both? Lina did not press send. Not yet. The light had stabilized. The monitor's steady beep returned to its normal cadence. Yet the chill in her chest persisted. Silence is not peace. Sometimes, it is merely a prelude to attack. Amira pressed her ear against the wall, an irregular vibration. Generator being tested off schedule, she murmured, her voice low. Someone is tampering with the very conduit of life. Stay close to the bed and record everything. Her counsel transformed into a veritable escape route. In the courthouse's subterranean garage, the squad car screeched to an abrupt halt. The air was redolent with diesel and damp concrete. 2 men awaited them, clutching metal cases, their faces impassive as glass. "Forensics?" Khaled queried, his gaze unblinking. Silence. The prosecutor, taut with tension, adjusted his tie. The driver veered off the planned route, no siren blaring. Who dares alter a prearranged plan with the entire city observing? Khaled's hand instinctively went to his inner pocket. The master key felt like a stone in its weighty presence. He thought of Lina, of bed 34, of the water that had claimed her father's life. If culpability bears a name, then valor too must have one. There will be no forensic examination without the hash value being read aloud, he stated, his voice firm. His voice struck the concrete walls, echoing back to them. A metallic door slid open. The senior officer emerged, a document in hand, his brow furrowed in a stern expression. Your credentials don't align. Improvisation leads to incarceration. Vacate this garage. The shadows, the 2 men, recoiled a step. At times, the law itself possesses both a face and a spine. Who can truly breathe when even a sliver of light pierces the dark crevice? At the hospital, Lina zoomed in on the photograph on the ID badge. Haddad, blue lab coat, a prominent bushy brow, a surname that had sullied ancient documents. The corridor was pungent with the scent of iodine and frantic haste. She proceeded to the laboratory. The shift roster was scrawled over, indicative of nervous fingers. A telltale oversight. Amira grasped the situation without a single word exchanged. I'll cover the front. You take the rear. If he bolts, where exactly will he run? 3 doors down, she spotted him. His forehead beaded with sweat. A hand thrust deep into his pocket. He attempted to bypass her. You swapped my brother's sample, Lina accused, her phone already recording. A mistake, he offered with a thin, unconvincing smile. An error requires official documentation. Where is it? The entire corridor seemed to lean in, straining to hear. Who flinches when the camera goes live? The director emerged, flanked by 2 bodyguards, shoulders squared. His ethics had plummeted. What is the meaning of this? He demanded, feigning authority. Lina did not yield. The sample had been swapped, the generator tampered with, utterly disregarding protocol. From now on, everything is public knowledge, or I hit publish. The bodyguards glanced at the director. The architect of the transgression turned his back. On the courthouse steps, the sun struck Khaled's face. Microphones held aloft like swords. The prosecutor extended a hand. He waved it away. I will speak. Now. His chest ached. Yet, his voice emerged unbroken. My name is Khaled al-Rashid. One of my companies paved the road that brought this mire to your door. I willfully blinded myself. I choose to fall. The very air in the plaza seemed to thicken. There is a name, he continued. Nashat. Logistics operating beyond the pale of the law. Whispers that brand deeper than any seal. He exploited my headquarters. Today, I deliver the map, and I surrender myself. Had the most powerful man knelt for love? For guilt? Perhaps for a truth that, at last, found its reflection. Amira streamed the live feed on her phone. Lina heard his voice pierce through walls. The sound of footsteps, the murmur of the plaza, the confession like a clean blade. She had been humiliated, but she would not be exploited again. Can a love spawned on the wrong side of the river become a bridge? Haddad attempted to slip away through the commotion. Amira blocked his path with her body. Transfer document, she inquired of the director, her voice level. The paperwork was non-existent. Those who operate in the shadows keep no receipts. The director perspired. His feet felt rooted to the spot. The monitor for bed 34 registered an upward spike. Khaled's mother called out through the glass. The light flickered again. Lina rushed, pushing past everyone. Cable checks. Door ajar. Name visible on the badge. Protocol had become her armor. The doctor nodded. Stable. For now. Until when? Comment below what you would do. Would you cordon off the corridor with cameras and personnel? Or would you move the bed far away and disappear from sight? If you believe in second chances, leave a 1 in the comments. For the elevator had stalled between floors. The generator hummed a discordant note, and 3 cell phones vibrated simultaneously. In the plaza, an engine sputtered erratically. A black van, devoid of any logo, pulled up. 2 men in peculiar vests disembarked, moving with unsettling speed. "Supplies!" one yelled cynically. Khaled recognized the cadence. It wasn't Nishat. It was his shadow, a shadow of a shadow. When a shadow seeks the sun, the intricate plot ignites. He stepped forward, becoming a human shield. He diverted gazes from the makeshift evidence table. He called Nishat's name into the microphone 3 times. A whisper despises an echo. The cameras honed in. The senior officer stirred. The prosecutor blanched. The charade fractured the makeup. In the pediatric ICU, the scent of new plastic and warmed milk mingled. Teddy bears adorned the monitors. Lina suppressed a nervous laugh. "Let's go up," she told the petite nurse. Dedicated generator, coded door. She entered 4 numbers she'd learned caring for other people's children. The door opened. The bed entered. A stranger in the hospital's cleanest garden. The director arrived late, flushed. "Have you lost your mind? You'll contaminate the ward." Lina turned to face him. Calm. "Will you first discipline those who tamper with samples and generators? Or will you threaten me further?" His authority fractured at the edges. The sound was that of cheap porcelain shattering on tile. Amira locked the door from within. The doctor adjusted the parameters. Stable. Lina's phone vibrated. An anonymous message. Final warning. Either he comes down from the ICU in 10 minutes, or the video of your friend's boyfriend goes viral, an opportunist with a wealthy man. The blade now cut through honor, digital venom. Amira blanched. "They'll come after me." Lina held firm. "They always have been." Now we look back and point. Publish or hold back? The dilemma burned hot between her ribs. At the forum, Nishat's operative advanced towards the evidence table. The older officer intercepted him. Hard elbows. A dry thud. No blood. Just the sound of impropriety attempting to pass as legal. Khaled ran to the opposite side, drawing focus with his body. The man in power became a decoy. For her. For him. For something greater than them both. The van reversed. It nearly struck a tripod. Journalists scattered. 2 cameras captured the operative's face. A ring bearing an old logo gleamed. The company that linked everything, like a blind knot. Evidence that breathes, even when they attempt to suffocate it. Khaled's mother pressed her scarf against the ICU window. "I'll stay," she said. Her gaze promised vigilance. The nurse brought a chair. The beeping drew a domestic constellation. For a second, Lina breathed with her brother. The world fit into their 2 lungs. And in the 3rd second, the shadow returned. Haddad appeared at the ICU window, a syringe in his pocket, with the gaze of someone who doesn't sleep in their own bed. He tapped on the glass, wanting to enter. "Etiquette check," he stated, formally. Lina pressed her face against the glass, the camera 5 fingers from his nose. "Take 1 more step, and I'll speak your name, and that of whoever signs off on your shift, and who you attend to at 3 in the morning." His body hesitated. His pride tried to hold its ground. Who falls first? The director brought in reinforcements. 2 men in black, fresh uniforms, the scent of expensive leather. For whom did they work? They brandished a document. It was a prophylactic patient removal order. The signature was unstamped. The date lacked a precise time. The ink still glistened wet. It was as fraudulent as a glacial stillness. Lina felt her blood surge, roaring in her ears. Her gaze swept from Amira to the doctor, then to her mother, and finally her brother. 4 faces, a synchronized pulse. To release it now and ignite an inferno. Or to defer for a mere 2 minutes, allowing genuine legal authority to ascend to their floor. In the square, Khaled felt his phone vibrate. A brief text. "Raise your voice. Mother is with her." He understood. He transmuted guilt into a catalyst. "For years I bankrolled silence. Today I would underwrite evidence. I would unleash contracts, offshore holdings, everything. Notarized, broadcast, publicized." The ground quivered by a millimeter. It was no seismic event. It was sheer resolve. The senior officer, like an unyielding compass, carved a path to the threshold. A radio crackled on his shoulder, a voice, distorted by static. Hospital team en route. Estimated 3 minutes. 3 minutes. An eternity. When life hangs precariously between closing doors. Share your thoughts below. What would be your course of action? Would you expose the fraudulent document in a live broadcast? Or would you make time bleed slowly until the team's arrival? If you subscribe to the notion of second chances, indicate so with a 1-er in the comments. Because beyond the glass, the men wrapped their pens on paper. The emergency light flickered yellow, and the generator emitted a deep growl that chilled the room to its core. Amira suffered another attack. A fraudulent screenshot, an antiquated fabrication. She trembled with rage. They intend to immolate my reputation to obliterate yours. Lina squeezed her hand. Nobody extinguishes an ocean with a match. The whispered phrase, though faint, ignited a spark. The doctor silently enumerated the seconds. 21, 22. The director's arm grew clammy within his suit jacket. In the square, Nishat's operator bellowed an order for the van to reverse further. The driver misjudged the gear. The resulting screech was deafening. The crowd turned their heads. The senior officer raised his hand. "Why stop?" It was the most authoritative utterance of the day. A distant siren responded. Justice was approaching, slow but inexorable. Sometimes it does. Lina received a voice message. Khalid. The cacophony of a crowd, wind, microphones. "Speak the name, Lina. I've already offered mine." Her hand trembled for a novel reason. Not out of fear, but of destiny. Her bracelet grew warm, like an ancient, rekindled ember. Her finger hovered over the button. Haddad shifted a mere centimeter. The men in black advanced a single step. The director offered a twisted smile. The nurse's gaze darted to the clock. Khalid's mother murmured something inaudible to all. The beep marked a perfect cadence. The question, fully unfurled, dominated the ICU. Should she publish now, unleashing the truth upon the city and risking her brother's life in the ensuing pandemonium? Or should she wait for precisely 3 minutes, trusting that the arm of the law would finally reach the deserving party? Lina did not publish. Not yet. Instead, she initiated a live broadcast. 3 minutes ticked away in the corner of the screen. Should anyone dare touch that door, the entire video would be unleashed. Names, shifts, the fabricated directive. Her voice rang out with pristine clarity. The air, however, was thick with unspoken tension. Haddad subtly recoiled. The men in black exchanged a terse glance. The director attempted a placating smile. "We'll discuss this later," he offered. But the words hung hollow. The nurse activated the call bell. An amber light pulsed. The air was sharp with the scent of ozone. Fear palpably permeated the corridor. At the courthouse, Khalid gazed into the sun, the immense responsibility of the plaza settling heavily upon his shoulders. "I take full responsibility," he declared. "Today we finalize contracts, notarized, live-streamed." His voice reverberated against the marble. He thought of Lina, and an unshakable resolve solidified within him. Amira maintained the countdown. 2:37, 2:15. Lina's breath hitched, synchronized with the monitor's persistent beep. Her brother's chest rose a solitary centimeter. In that infinitesimal rise lay the entirety of her world. This wasn't about notoriety. It was about life. A life against the clock. Heavy footsteps reverberated, rattling the glass. A radio crackled to life. The long arm of the law was ascending the staircase, heralded by the wail of a siren and the rustle of official papers. Haddad's jaw tensed. The director nervously smoothed his lapels, a gesture akin to prayer. 3 minutes can stretch into an eternity when courage takes root within one's very being. On the side of the courthouse, a black van attempted to cut through. Nishat's operator commanded it forward. The senior officer spread his arms wide, shouting, "Stop!" The engine sputtered. Tripods crashed. A small boy broke free from his mother's grasp. Khalid descended 2 steps and knelt, a human bulwark, the most powerful man, brought to his knees, not by shame, but by profound love. The camera captured the pivotal moment. Dust motes danced in the air. The boy's cries pierced the silence. Khalid's face was scraped against the concrete. He raised his eyes and, for a fleeting second, found a profound peace, as though he had just encountered his own destined judgment. 1:56. Khaled's mother gently placed a handkerchief on Lina's shoulder. "Water always finds its crack," she whispered, and her words became a comforting canopy. The director pounded on the glass. "This is an outrage," he fumed. "Outrage is swapping samples," Lina countered. "Outrage is tampering with the generator. Outrage is